Welcome back for another presentation in your World Regional Geography course. This time we're going to introduce the realm of Australia and New Zealand. So let's get going. Now, introducing the realm. The historic isolation of New Zealand and Australia from the rest of the world has caused animals and organisms that are not found anywhere else to develop in these two countries. New Zealand and Australia were both inhabited before the era of European colonialism. Aboriginal people are said to have migrated to Australia from Southeast Asia, from the mainland of Asia, more than 40,000 years ago. For tens of thousands of years before the Europeans arrived, Aborigines carved out an existence in Australia and developed their cultural ways. England had a severe problem with overcrowding in its prisons. Its problem was exacerbated by the loss of Britain's American colonies. Upon Cook's return to England, interest was generated in the concept of relieving prison overcrowding by sending prisoners to, technically, a tropical paradise of Australia. In 1787, 11 ships with 750 convicts sailed from Great Britain to Botany Bay. Although coming to an end in 1868, it wasn't until 1901 when the various states of Australia came together under one federation. So kind of looking briefly, I know that we're also going to be discussing New Zealand, but I wanted to show the population density and relief of Australia. And now what's interesting is, obviously the first thing you're going to observe within, again, population density, it's all around the perimeter. That's where the majority of your population lies, and that it's pretty vacant in the middle. And as we'll learn, especially in further reading, it has a lot to do with the climate, and that it's incredibly dry in the central parts, and so it seems more appropriate for agriculture and things of existence and transportation and economics to thrive around the perimeter of the continent itself. So let's talk a little more about Australia. Now, international attraction to the island has made tourism the #1 economic activity. The Tropic of Capricorn runs right through the core of the island, aiding to a Type B dominant climate. There's also A and C, as Australia also experiences monsoonal seasons. In Western Australia, more than 500 miles to the north of Perth, is Mount Augustus National Park, which features a rock known as Mount Augustus. It is considered to be one of the largest single rocks in the world. Uluru is the actual largest monolith or single rock in the world that is unbroken and in one singular piece. That's pretty cool. Now, Aboriginal people were in Australia for about 40,000 years. Only about 450,000 Aborigines remain. So let's speak to the images and maps that I provided you on the right-hand side. The first one on the top right is really breaking out Australia into its prominent territories. As we can see, there's Western Australia, Southern South Wales, Queensland, and also the Northern Territory. But what's interesting is the bottom map that I provided. And the bottom map shows a lot of the natural resources. So we can see that, for mining purposes, there's asbestos, silver, gold, bauxite, copper, manganese, nickel, lead, platinum, tungsten, coal, natural gas, which is a really big one right now that seems to be driving a lot of economic business, and crude oil. So for being a very unique landmass on its own, it is incredibly rich with natural resources that are very sought after. Which I think is what's interesting, is because obviously they have these, natural resources, but their dominant area of economics now is tourism. All right, so moving forward, going into more of tourism and education, I just thought this was interesting. Education is well funded and internationally respected. School attendance is compulsory between the ages of 6 and 15, and the adult literacy rate has held a steady number at 99%. Most students attend publicly funded schools, which are secular and free. Now, bringing into tourism, the Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest coral reef, composed of over 2,900 individual reefs and 900 little islands stretching over 2,300 kilometers of an area of 344,400 square kilometers. Well, what is found in this massive area? There's 600 types of soft and hard corals, more than 100 species of jellyfish, 3,000 varieties of mollusks, 50 species of worms, 1,625 types of fish, 133 varieties of sharks and rays, and more than 30 species of whales and dolphins make this place their home. So when we discuss even further in other courses and things like that about the importance and diversity of the coral reefs, which are considered the rainforests of the ocean, that the Great Barrier Reef is of extreme importance for the ecology of our oceans. And knowing that coral reefs can change dramatically based on coral bleaching done by not just human interferences, but just even looking at El Nino, La Nina events, we can see that there can be extreme damage that is done to these. And so they're very, very sensitive habitats. Let's discuss a little bit about New Zealand. Now, New Zealand has really high mountains, which really throws people off. They have located there what they've acknowledged as the Southern Alps along the western coast of the South Island, and the highlands along the eastern and of the North Island. Adequate rainfall and good soil provide for excellent agriculture production, which has been a traditional economic activity. New Zealand was once part of Gondwana land, also known as Gondwana. About 250 million years ago, Gondwana was a southern portion of the supercontinent Pangaea. Now, the geologic history has laid the groundwork for more than 2,000 indigenous plant species, about 115 of them which are found nowhere else in the world. Now, grass continues to grow throughout the entire year, which means that sheep and other livestock can be well grazed. Wool and other agriculture products, notably meat and butter, are important exports for New Zealand's economy. And one thing that's important for California history and our connection with New Zealand is that Knott's Berry Farm, which was home of the boysenberry, New Zealand is one of the greatest exporters of the boysenberry for the Smucker's company that produces Knott's Berries Farms jams. So let's test some fun facts, some things that we've learned through the videos and also through your reading. Again, these questions here you're going to find on your exam, so make sure to follow them along. If you haven't liked it yet, be sure to like our video, and let's get going. So, which country colonized Australia to use as a prison colony? The second question is, the Great Barrier Reef is composed of how many reefs? Question 3 is, New Zealand was part of what supercontinent? And question 4 is, what is the largest granitic monolith in the world? Well, let's see those answers. Question 1, which country colonized Australia to use it as a prison colony? Great Britain. The Great Barrier Reef is composed of how many reefs? 2,900. New Zealand was part of what supercontinent? Gondwana land. And lastly, what is the largest granitic monolith in the world? It's Uluru. Well, I hope that this was helpful. Be sure to check out the next video, and we'll talk soon.